We both believe that empowered patients make better decisions.
And they can really get a lot of knowledge from fellow patients.
What inspired this partnership between Everyone.org and Smart Patients?
We met with Smart Patients at an event where there were a lot of patient advocates, and we immediately recognized the uniqueness of Smart Patients being a very safe environment. We at Everyone.org, we as well, we are discussing, we are talking to patients every day, patients from around the world, from various cultures. And the one and foremost thing that we're trying to give them is a safe environment. And we are not willing to just partner with anyone. However, with Smart Patients, it felt like this is a community that's also really creating a safe environment for patients. And we are of the opinion that our patients could really benefit from joining the patient community at Smart Patients that we have with Everyone.org, because within that safe environment, you can talk to fellow patients, you can ask your questions, you can ask for guidance. We're really very happy with this partnership with Smart Patients and Everyone.org.
I first heard about Everyone.org at a conference when Shock spoke about your mission. The more I learned about your work in facilitating global drug access, the more I could see that there was a natural connection. Your work to ensure that patients can access the medications they need is really a great fit with the work that we're doing in building communities where patients can access the knowledge and support they need. At Smart Patients, we've seen that patients become extraordinarily knowledgeable about their diseases, and they use that knowledge to improve their care. And this partnership felt like a perfect fit. We both believe that empowered patients make better decisions, and together we can ensure that patients both have the information and the actual access to the treatments they need.
And what is the patient empowerment community about, and who is it for?
The patient empowerment community is an online space where patients and their families affected by various illnesses can come together and learn about treatments. They learn about challenges and how those conditions fit into the context of their daily lives. It's for everyone. It's designed for anyone dealing with a serious health condition, and whether they're newly diagnosed, a longtime patient, or a caregiver supporting someone that they love, we provide a safe and high quality peer support in a trusted environment.
Empowerment community is meant to be for patients who really want to get good understanding of their health situation and the journey they're at, and they can really get a lot of knowledge from fellow patients and family members of fellow patients who have experienced themselves what it is about. Because at the end, a patient only understands what's happening once you're in such a situation. And we notice this every day because we're talking to patients every day. And we also notice that patients very much appreciate to be in contact with fellow patients that have been there and have seen what can happen and how your life changes, how the relationship changes with people in your circle of friends and circle of family. And that's what empowerment is all about. Next to that, patients really like to be empowered to have the right discussions with their physicians. Often you're more or less taken by surprise because of your diagnosis, and then it's really very hard to have a good discussion with your physician on what your options are. And patients can help and empower each other to have better discussions and make jointly better decisions on the health plan.
How can patients benefit from joining a community like this?
You wonder how patients can benefit from joining such a community like this. But I have a very simple example. I once visited a patient in the Arabic countries, in Abu Dhabi, and he was telling about his disease and his condition. And he was telling me that there were only few patients in Abu Dhabi suffering from the same condition, and physicians were not very well known with his condition. And he was super eager to get a better understanding of what happens to him and how the next couple of years would look like for him and for his wife and his family. And then a couple of days later, I was in the United States and I visited the family, and by coincidence, it was a patient suffering from the same conditions. And I asked them whether it was okay that I would connect the two of them. And he was absolutely okay with that. So I connected these two patients with each other, and although in very different circumstances, one in Abu Dhabi, the other in the United States, they have been of help to each other. They got into understanding, and actually they've become friends. And also their wives, their family members, they could connect easily, ask questions, also the not everyday questions, and they could also help each other ask the right questions to their physicians.
So members gain access to a wealth of knowledge from patients who've been there before them. There's the emotional benefit. Our members often tell us that they find relief knowing that they're not alone and that others truly understand what they're going through. They can research the latest treatments, understand advances in personalized medicine, and learn how these might mean better treatment with fewer side effects. And they get reliable information. They learn about practical questions to ask their doctors, and really the clarity and that confidence to advocate for themselves. And we find that many members are there to seek information, and then they eventually become the ones who help the newcomers.
What makes this community different from other online groups or forums?
That's a great question. Several things set us apart. First, privacy and safety. Our community is a private space with no advertising and no data selling. In this way, and we've set this up intentionally from the very beginning, our members can ask questions without hesitation. We're moderated to ensure that members can share high quality, reliable information with each other. And lastly, unlike general forums, we focus on evidence-based discussions that help patients navigate their journey from diagnosis to treatment to beyond. It's a culture that we've set up. We've been around for over a decade, and we've been very, very intentional about that culture.
At everyone.org, we are talking to patients every day who are much in need, urgently often, of medication that is not yet available where they live. And we try and help them, and we guide them, and we hope that we are able, and often we are, to help them get the medicine in their country and get the right treatment. But these patients are also eager, although they get guidance from us on how to get onto the treatment that might benefit you most. They're also eager to get a good understanding of what's happening with them. However, they often feel unsure and unsafe, and there's a lot of organizations that try to make money out of them, etc. And within Smart Patients community that we have with everyone.org, there's only patients. There's no people of the industry. There's no people that try to make money on them. It's just patients talking to patients in a safe environment. And you can really be vulnerable over there. And that helps patients to really feel safe.
Finally, what would you say to someone who is unsure about joining a patient community?
What I would say to patients who wonder whether they should join a patient community, yes or no, is the following. I've lost close ones to disease, and I've noticed from very close that it's super difficult when you're in such a situation. And even when, as a patient, you can talk to your family members or your friends, and you have a very good relationship, then still they don't feel We don't feel what you're feeling. A fellow patient is. A fellow patient feels exactly like you do. A fellow patient understands what's happening to you. Fellow patients can really help you, sometimes just by listening, sometimes by giving you a little bit of guidance, and sometimes you can be there for the other one, the other person that needs to be listened to, that needs to be heard, that needs understanding. So I'd really challenge you, and I'd really advise, go to a safe patient group, patient environment, because it really helps you emotionally. It makes you stronger, and it helps you to get a good understanding. You can ask the questions that you can't ask your spouse or your children, but you can ask the questions at a fellow patient.
Well, I completely understand the hesitation. Navigating a health condition is already a lot. And the thought of joining yet another community can feel like one more thing to manage. But I would say to someone, imagine this feeling that you have right now. You feel uncertain. You might be overwhelmed by everything that you're facing. You find smart patients, and it's a space where others truly get it. People who have been there, who are navigating similar decisions, and they can offer real lived experience. And I would say that just seeing those conversations can be a real relief. Um, Often our members start by simply observing, and that's okay. There's absolutely no pressure to post or share right away. But over time, what we find is that people feel more informed, more confident in their care, and they often discover that they're not just receiving support, they're actually giving it too. And so this community becomes something that it helps lighten the load. It doesn't add to it. And because it's private and designed specifically for people in a similar journey, it's a space that feels safe and really grounded in understanding.